Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, thank you very much for the opportunity to address you by means of this brief message on the occasion of the 50th annual seminar of the International Insurance Society. It is in the collaboration between the UNEP Finance Initiative and the world of insurance that we have in recent years learned a great deal about how our mutual areas of work increasingly coincide. In the United Nations Environment Programme, we are addressing one of the key themes of your seminar this year, which is the science and the understanding about the environmental changes that are now occurring on our planet and the implications for the future of our societies and economies. Through the work and also through the perspective of risk assessment, you, leaders in the insurance world, are not only trying to assess the implications of this science, but also to translate them into consequences and implications for your business and indeed for the insurability of our assets in our society. It is therefore no coincidence that at the Rio+20 summit, we were able to launch together the Principles for Sustainable Insurance, based on significant pieces of work and also collaboration through the UNEP Finance Initiative that allowed us to bring together a significant part now of the insurance world in operating under the Principles for Sustainable Insurance. Indeed, the first report that will be launched on global resilience at your annual seminar is testimony to the kind of collaboration that I hope we will see even more of in the coming years, because it brings together both your capacity for analysis and risk assessment and also our ability to bring the latest science into the sort of models and assessments that will allow decision makers, but also you as business leaders in the world of insurance, to make decisions that by inevitability will be different from those in the past. Indeed, it is through the perspective of the world of insurance that we in UNEP also look at two ends of the spectrum of where we see the comparative advantage and also the points of engagement. One is certainly the pioneering work that many of you in the insurance sector have brought to an understanding in our society as to how to interpret the risks of environmental change, the implications for our economies, and also the kinds of mitigation measures that need to be taken. I want to compliment once more many of the leaders in the insurance world who were at the forefront of recognizing the significant and far-reaching implications of an initially emerging science of climate change and global warming, and by now indeed a very strong case for ultimately reinventing our economies in terms of enabling us to move towards a low carbon emission future. It is in this assessment of the conditions under which we will need to operate in the future that we have also in the public policy arena benefited significantly from the kinds of analysis and also the work that you have undertaken and that we have been together been able to present to society and to decision makers. But let me also address another aspect of your world of insurance, which has to do perhaps with the more conservative end of the spectrum when it comes to financial management. Because as insurers, you also hold large capital and financial holdings that are part of our capital and financial markets. In the efforts to facilitate and accelerate and scale up a transition towards a green economy that is inclusive, low carbon and also ecosystem resilient, we need to significantly increase the amount of investments that also come from the financial and capital markets in these transitions. It is for this reason that UNEP launched at the beginning of this year an inquiry into the design of a sustainable financial system to try and understand how, through the rules of the game, the regulatory measures that central banks, financial regulatory authorities may be taking, but also initiatives in the stock exchanges of the world and indeed the strategic discussions in boardrooms of your sector, that we may be able to better understand what are the conditions for significantly increasing the financial investments that would allow us to make these transitions, be it in the field of renewable energy, resource efficiency, or investments in some of the ecosystem-based adaptation and mitigation measures. I hope that also through the collaboration that we will continue to have in the context of the UNEP Finance Initiative, that we can draw upon your expertise but also on your vision in trying to address the enormous influence and ultimately the power in the marketplace that you as insurers also play in the world's financial and capital markets. All this to say that together with you and many of the players in your industry, we have a great deal to contribute to a better understanding about the environmental change phenomena on our planet. And it is not only climate change, as we all know, and also the responses and the strategies that we can mobilize in order to reduce those risks, to manage them and ultimately to protect our societies, human beings, and the assets of our economies. Thank you once again for inviting me for this brief address, and I hope that through the discussions at your annual seminar, you will continue to reinforce the directions that I have just tried to sketch out in this very brief message. Thank you very much.